Chapter 49. Hopefully I don't bite my tongue as I read. Alright. So once again, she has said that I smell a murderer in the hallway. So this is what they're going to be talking about once I read this paragraph, alright? He'd lost weight and grown a beard. His hair was much longer, too, well past his shoulders. Yet the smell she'd caught in the front of the hall, when the ladies were let in with their food trolley, was the same as the day he'd shot Tom. Stale tobacco, rotten teeth, and Jim Beam. I don't know what you're talking about. Glaring, Harlan balled a grimy rag in one hand fist. On top of his normal reek, he also smelled of the bleach and ammonia he used to mop the floors of the jail cells. As the village hall janitor, Harlan had, Alex decided, found his true calling. Harlan jammed the rag into her grubby hip pocket. I've never seen this kid before in my life. Why would she lie? Asked Yeager. The others were still at their places on the bench, but he had descended, coming to stand alongside her. Yeager was smaller than she'd imagined, nearly half a head shorter than she. He had not taken Harlan's hands, however, which Alex thought must be a test of some kind. Not of Harlan, though. Yeager was testing her. Harlan glowered. Because she's a kid, and she's got some kind of axe to grind. But I'm telling the truth, I've never seen her before, just now. Liar. What happened to Ellie? Alex asked. I'm sorry, who's that? Relative of yours? A dog, maybe? From the bench, Ernst said, this isn't getting us anywhere. Let's wait until... Yeager broke off as the courtroom door opened, and Peter hurried in, a bulging knapsack in his arms. Chris and Jet followed close behind. Sorry. Peter's hair was windblown, and his cheeks were ruddy with cold. He plunked the knapsack onto one of the courtroom's long attorney tables as Chris dumped a second. There was a lot of crap to gather. Hey, said Harlan, that's my stuff. You got no right to go through my stuff. On the contrary, said Yeager, and nodded at Chris and Peter. Open them. What tumbled out were clothes, mostly underwear, jeans, sweaters, flannel shirts, long johns, socks. Peter had gathered up toiletries, shoes, 2 watch caps, a set of mittens, and several ratty magazines, and a Bible, he said, pulling the leather-bound volume from the knapsack. Anything you recognize? Yeager asked her. Alex shook her head. She'd felt a flare of hope, but a single glance told her that the Bible was not on Hannah's. See? Harlan folded his arms over his chest. You got the wrong guy. No, I don't, Alex said. She looked at Chris. There's nothing else? Just this, Peter said, and reached into one of the knapsack's side pouches. Heavy sucker. Alex had to bite her lip to keep from crying out. That's my fanny pack. That's crap, said Harlan, although Alex caught a thin stiletto of sour milk now. Harlan was worried. I've had that thing for years. No, I packed it myself, Alex said. A fanny pack's a fanny pack, Harlan said. She's gonna guess some of it. Yeah, Peter unzipped the pack. So that's why we'll let you tell us first. What's inside? Harlan visibly relaxed, and Alex thought with dismay. He emptied it. Sure, Harlan said. Let's see. There's a pack of tissues, some old gum, knife. He rattled off a list of items as Peter pulled each from the pack. Yeah, said Peter when Harlan was done. That's all of it. Except this. He pulled out Alex's soft-shell black case. This weighs a good 10 pounds. What's inside? Harlan opened his mouth, but Yeager said, just a minute. He took the case from Peter, studied its contents, then he raised his searching, bird-bright eyes to Alex. Tell us what this is. Hey, it's my pack, said Harlan. Then she won't have the slightest idea, will she? Yeager nodded at Alex. Go on. Tell me. What are these? Later, she would wonder why Harlan had kept them. The pack, she could understand, but not the rest. Maybe, when he saw the Bible, he realized what he'd done and was just superstitious enough to think that keeping them would somehow undo all the rest. In the end, all that mattered was this. If the pack was still heavy, she knew exactly who was inside. My parents, she said. Chapter 49, damn! Oh, you mean that black case right there? Oh, that's just my parents right there, you know? Oh, no. Oh, no. Alright. Chapter 50. Also, I forgot to actually write down my thingy so I don't forget. We stop at chapter 59. There we go. I was like, excuse me? I mean, I said what I said. She said, that's my parents, nigga. That's my parents. What's up, KB? How are you? It's another read and draw session today, on a Sunday of all days. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what that man gets. And that was a dead giveaway, too, to have kept it. But you know what? At least he was conscious of the fucked up things he did. It's just, it won't do shit for him in the apocalypse, to be honest. If he really didn't want to be caught, he should have thrown away the ashes, but he didn't. But hey, that's good for Alex at the end of the day. She get to have her parents back. You sound different on my laptop? What the fuck? How different? I'm good? Okay. Yeah, for those of you who just came in, I just read chapter 49. We just only read one chapter so far for Read and Draw. And basically what just happened, it was the fact that Alex was able to successfully call out the people who had ambushed and robbed them earlier in the book, which took Ellie and shot Tom before taking all their stuff and the dog. And one of these people was now working at Rule. Who knows what had happened, but she smelled him actually, and she was able to identify him to prove the fact that she had the same abilities as this, as one of the members of the Rule family. But it ain't your voice, homie. I'm crying. I know what you're talking about, Hound. Alright, chapter 50, alright? Chapter 50. Chapter 50. Her parents' ashes were there, but Aunt Hannah's Bible and her mother's letter were gone. The little kid must have done it, said Harlan miserably. He was slouched in a hard-backed chair, looking as shriveled as a deflated balloon. Once Kincaid looked through the bags to confirm that they contained cremated remains, teeth surviving cremation. Harlan had dropped the bluffing tough guy routine. Now he stared at his hands inside. She said the stuff was important to her. He jerked his head at Alex. Once Marjorie got killed, I had my hands full just keeping us alive. Couldn't be watching the kid every 5 seconds. Where is she? Alex demanded. It was all she could do to keep from screaming and scratching Harlan's eyes out. Harlan hunched a shoulder. I don't know. Like I said, she run off maybe a day south of here. He let out a grunt of disgust. Brett was so sure the army was going to let us in, only we never got that far. I told Brett we ought to keep off the interstate, and Marjorie wanted to go west. To come here is what she wanted. Oh, shit. What in the world? Hello? Paige? Okay. But he just had to check on his sister, who lived in Watersmeet. Anyway, that's where we lost the truck, in an ambush. Bunch of guys watching the town, outnumbered us by about 20. Shot Marjorie before we knew what was happening. Yeah, Alex said. I know how getting ambushed and shot at feels. Chris put a warning hand on her arm, and she bit back the rest. What happened after that? Peter asked. Harlan shrugged again. The hell you think? We couldn't go south on account of we heard they wasn't letting people across the border into Wisconsin, and we sure as hell wasn't staying in Watersmeet, outside that town. They don't even give you a chance to explain. Not like here. They just start shooting. So we walked. You still had the little girl and the dog? Asked Yeager. He nodded. The dog saved our ass a bunch of times. It knew way ahead of us when there was one of those things out there. The dog and the kid was with us right up until we was east of the mine. And then the dog went crazy. Just wouldn't go up any further. Even the girl couldn't get it to mind. The dog kept wanting to get away from here. Probably we should have listened to it, because that's the night 5 of them kids, that changed. They got to us. Hey, K-pop, what's good? I'm crying. All the booties, yeah. All them fine booties. We're doing a read and draw on a Sunday. Welcome, welcome. It is now part 6 of the read and draw sessions. Welcome, welcome. How are you? They got emos, yeah. The dog didn't warn you? Asked Peter. Well, I think it tried, and we wouldn't listen. I don't know, man, Harlan said. Brett was standing watch. 1 minute I'm sleeping, and the next, the dog. It never did settle down, pacing all night long and whining. It started going crazy, and next thing I know, Brett starts blasting away. His rifle jammed, and I couldn't draw a bead fast enough. No, that was a lie. Alex smelled it. But whether Harlan had dozed off or accidentally shot Brett wasn't important. Yeager must have sensed something too, because he said, Now why do I think that's a lie? The skin of Harlan's neck flushed on mottled scarlet. He said, What are you going to do to me? You left a little girl out there to die, Peter said. His voice snapped like an angry whip. What do you think? Harlan's Adam's apple bobbled. What? His gaze skittered away from Peter's angry face to the blank faces of the men on the bench, and then finally to Yeager. But you can't shoot me. True, but you cannot stay, said Yeager. Your sin stains us all. There were murmurs of assent from the men on the bench. Peter was nodding, but Chris's face was impassive, the scent of his darkness very strong. Band? Harlan's eyes filled. Man, please don't make me go back out there. Those things! Peter, for whom most solutions seem to involve a gun, said, Hey man, no skin off my nose. I'm happy to put a bullet in you right now. Yeager put a restraining hand. You'll be no worse off than that little girl, and a fair sight better. You will have the same 3 days' rations we give any person to whom we refuse sanctuary. But I've been a good worker, Harlan whined. I've done nothing wrong since I got here. Do not share in the sins of others. Keep yourself pure, Yeager recited. You bear Azazel's mark. We will not be pure again until you're gone. From this time forward, you are banned. Oh, please. At least let me stay the night, Harlan said hoarsely. For God's sakes, it's already late afternoon. It'll be dark soon. Then I suggest, said Yeager, that you run very quickly. They said no mercy, nigga. Goodbye. The door. Oh, damn. Yeah, things are starting to speed up now. Since it's coming towards the end, things are starting to speed up. Yeah, Jill. Yeah, they didn't give a fuck. And I'm glad you're doing great, K-pop. Hope your days continue to be good. Chapter 51. We need to find her, Alex demanded. Kincaid and Chris sat with her in Jess's kitchen. The golden slant of late afternoon sun sliced through a window as Jess silently doled out cups of hot tea. Lena, Tori, and Sarah were out at their respective jobs, for which Alex was grateful. The last thing she needed was more of Lena's mouth. She was tense enough already. Sits down in myself in my blanket, pass out popcorn, drink hot cocoa. I'm weak. Yeah, get comfortable now. Peter had elected to escort Harlan out personally, and from the look in his face, she thought that Harlan would be very lucky to make it through the next hour. She wished she felt sorry for Harlan, but she didn't. You heard him, Chris. They were a day south. That's what, 20, 30 miles? A day south 2 weeks ago. We didn't have the manpower to search for Tom, and that was nearly the same distance. It's not a straight line, Alex. It's 20 miles. And who knows which direction, said Chris. You guys go out all the time. Yes, but that's with specific objectives in mind. We know where we're going. Our search is very different. But she's only 8. I'm sorry, Alex, said Chris. We can't. You mean you won't? She's spared, but she's not valuable enough. Chris opened his mouth to reply, but Kincaid broke in. Alex, Chris is on your side. He's the one who got Peter to go out after your friend. He can't change what his grandfather decides. Or Peter. It doesn't work that way. What makes Yeager so right? You make it sound like he's some miracle guy. Why is he in charge anyway? Don't you guys ever decide anything for yourselves? That got to Chris. She could smell that sliver of ice splinter his darkness. Listen, he said. You don't know everything. You just got Chris. Kincaid put a warning hand around Chris's wrist. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Maybe it's best you head on home now. Chris wanted to argue. Alex could see that in the set of his jaw. But all Chris did was give a curt nod before sliding out of his chair. Shrugging into his coat, he said, I'll be by for you tomorrow. What? Why? She said. You need an escort, said Chris. Before leaving the village hall, Yeager had suggested she work with Kincaid at the hospice. A suggestion that was in order. Probably to keep an eye on me, she thought now. I can escort myself. That's not the way things work here, girl, Jess said. But I don't need him, she said. Sometimes you don't know what you need until it's gone, said Kincaid. She felt a twinge of disquiet. Chris didn't seem to be a bad guy, but all these stupid rules, a guard outside the house, and now an escort? Were they going to watch her around the clock? What had she gotten herself into? Look, it's nothing personal, she said to Chris. It's just that No, it's fine. The skin around Chris's mouth was white. I'll get someone else to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it every day anyway. But I don't want anyone. It's not my call, said Chris. Well, he's your grandfather. Talk to him. It's not that simple. The rules are the rules. You have to follow them. Or what? You're going to kick me out? She pushed back the table. Fine. That's what I want anyway. I'll leave now. Just give me back my gun and a pack and I'm out. Oh, for pity's sake. Put a plug in your jug, Alex, said Jess. I've aged 5 years just listening to you. Alex felt her neck heat. I'm just saying, Jess, Chris began at the same moment. If she doesn't want me, be quiet, both of you. Honestly, you two are like cats in a gunny sack. Alex doesn't know what she wants. Wait a minute, Alex flared. You only want to brawl. You want to fight. Fighting tricks you into believing you could change the past, even when the past is dead and gone and all of it is ashes, said Jess. Fuck Jess, to be honest. I still don't fuck with that bitch, even after how far I read into this book. Like, fuck Jess. Hashtag fuck Jess. Fuck Lena. Fuck Jess. I am disgusted, but I'm gonna let you have it. Wait, what? I have that Christmas popcorn. Ooh, I didn't get that canned popcorn this year. I'm so sad. Might just get it. I'm dead. Yep, fuck Jess. Like, Jess, apparently, yeah, fuck him. Because, like, Jess, you're going to notice even more, like, this lady has no respect. Like, this lady is very, like, mad conservative, and that's fine and whatever. But she pushes her beliefs and values onto Alex way too fucking much. And she treats Alex like she's a child. And it's just like, sure, she may be a young adult, but she's still her own individual person and an adult, bitch. The fuck? Don't matter how long you fucking lived. Alex literally knows how to survive in the wild on her fucking own. She really says what she meant. She can take care of her own damn self. And just being this conservative bitch with her own fucking agenda is like, no, you don't know what you want. You're just a young girl. Like, bitch, fuck out of here. Like, after what I've seen Alex go through in the past 3 books, Alex is a fucking MVP. She can take care of herself, no fucking problem. You don't fucking know her, bitch. Fuck out of here, you know. So it's just like, bitch. When Alex said she's independent, she's fucking independent. Get out. Goodbye. Sorry, I hate Jess so much. All right. Alex felt the hot burn in her chest dim. Jess was right. Damn her. Fighting back had been drilled into her from day 1 of her diagnosis. For her, accepting the monster meant giving up, succumbing. If you didn't fight, you died. Had that changed when she walked away, cut school, and headed for the Wakama? No. She'd fought back in a different way. That was all. Pushing back at the doctors, and the tests, and the treatments in favor of calling the shots herself. Since the zap, she'd been fighting to stay alive every day. So now what? Accept what was happening here? No. She hadn't chosen this life. This wasn't her home. These were not her people. They were nice enough, but they had their reasons for keeping her here. She was sure of it. And by God, she wasn't going to stop fighting now. She was getting out of here, and she would find Tom and Ellie. She just had to figure out a way. Aloud, she settled for something that was also true. I'm just mad about, everything. I know that, said Jess. You're only human, but you need to start thinking about the greater good. As for you, Christopher, you need to get over yourself and lighten up. Now you're young. You've been thrust into a position of responsibility well before your time, and you're scared. But sticking to rules just because they're there? What? Yeah, because they're there does not make them right. You need to learn when the rules should be broken. Yes, ma'am, Chris said. I'm weak, how not thrusted. I'm weak. If anything, his dark scent grew even blacker. Not anger, Alex thought, but embarrassment. Chris's eyes bounced from Jess to Alex and then to the table. An escort's probably overkill. Yes, Alex squashed a quick spurt of triumph, afraid it would show on her face. Now if I can get them to loosen up a little more. But Kincaid was shaking his head. You let her go without an escort, you're gonna have to change the rule for everybody then. Not sure you want to go there without a lot of thought. Gonna have to go up against Peter on that one, and probably the council. I don't think you'll win. Chris threw up his hands. There's no satisfying you guys. First Alex fights me, then Jess tells me I should break rules, and then you turn around and tell me I shouldn't. I mean, Jesus. Language, young man, said Jess. Matt is right. If you want to make an exception, you need a good reason. Charting your own course isn't the same as being impetuous. Right now, Alex is just complaining. She could be Lena all over again. Hey, said Alex. The fact that she was trying to figure out a way to escape didn't make her any less pissed. She was so not Lena. So this is what's going to happen, Jess continued. Christopher, you will take her when you can, and if your duties permit, get to know Alex. If you feel that she can be trusted to come and go on her own, then let her. Tell Peter why. Heavens, if it's a question of protection, let her prove that she can take care of herself. Into a position of responsibility. I'm weak. And how am I supposed to do that? Asked Chris. His pale skin was a patchwork of white and scarlet. His dark eyes were... What the fuck? His dark eyes were glittery with anger. Give her a gun? Let her get in some target practice? Ride with us? Yes, said Alex. I'll bet I can shoot just as well as you guys. For so is the will of God, that with well-doing you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. Jess threw at Alex a look. And foolish girls. Until you know what you're about, Alex, hold your tongue. To Chris, you are a very smart boy. Figure out what is right and then do it. I mean, fuck you, Jess. Fuck off. Till you know what you're about. She knows what she's about, bitch. Oh my god, I fucking hate Jess. I'm sorry. Nonsense. You want to be a man? Start acting like one. Oh, I forgot to read that one. Jess, it's not as easy as that, said Chris. Nonsense. You want to be a man? Start acting like one. Jess, Kincaid said. The boy's doing the best I can defend myself, Chris snapped. That icy edge was more pronounced now. Ooh, excuse me, sorry. Cleaving his shadows in two. Alex felt a squirt of sympathy. She could handle Chris, but she didn't really want to watch him getting hammered by a woman old enough to be his grandmother. Jess said, Chris, you survived this long by being both very lucky and very smart. But eventually, you must follow your own path, however frightening. I am, said Chris. His face was ashen. I am. No, you're not. Not, hi, my name is Jess and I'm a bitch. I'm crying. That's what she is. Obeying orders just to obey is the mark of a person who has ceased to think. Remember, it's better to suffer for doing what is right than for doing what is wrong. Don't fool yourself, Christopher. Peace comes with a price. What was going on? Alex had the feeling that they, Jess and Chris, and even Kincaid, were talking over her head somehow. This was not about Chris playing bodyguard, but an argument over a question she hadn't yet asked. She thought Chris would say something, but his hands fisted, grabbing back whatever had been on the tip of his tongue. Then he stalked out, flinging the kitchen door shut with a resounding clap that made the glass chatter. That went well, said Kincaid. Sow the seeds of righteousness, Jess murmured. Then what were you doing? Felt like you were ripping the boy a new one. Watch your language, Matt. She shot Alex a warning glare. He is not the only young person who has seceded his free will. Wait a minute, Alex said. Why are you getting on my case? I want to be free. Freedom has a price too, girl. For all your bravery, you did not... She broke off as the kitchen door opened again, and Sarah appeared, shaking a salting of snow from her hair. What's wrong with Chris? Sarah asked. Is he all right? Never you mind, said Jess. Then she turned to Alex. You are an ungrateful and very foolish young woman. While you are here, you will be quiet and follow the rules. Fuck you, Jess. Don't presume to... It's like, she's like, what? What? Follow the rules? Alex shot flashed to anger. 5 seconds ago, you said the rules. Don't presume to correct me. Jess cut her off with a vicious swipe of her hand. You will be quiet, young woman. Stop spouting about things you know nothing about. Is that understood? Sarah's eyes were round as pie plates. Alex was mortified. If the floor had opened up to swallow her, that would have been fine. Yes, ma'am. No, fuck that. I would have told her, fuck off, bitch. What? You can suck my dick from the back. No. Right, Jill? I'm sweating too. Like, damn, bitch. Don't forget to put the balls in your mouth, too. Get out. Oh, no. I mean, mood, though. Jess is a whole ass bitch. She really didn't have to be either. Like, that's the funny thing. She really didn't have to be, but she decided to be. Excellent. Jess favored Alex with a frosty glare. I'm so glad we cleared that up. Now, I'm sure there's something useful needs of doing somewhere. She swept from the room. Wow, Kincaid said after a moment. Bet you really could hear a pin drop. Whew! That was chapter 51. Damn! After reading that, my ass is kind of tired. Holy shit. Jess is tiring, my dude. Like, hell no. Like, I'm getting tired now after reading that. Fuck. Disrespectful people are very tiring to read. They just drain all your energy for all it is. What do y'all think? Sending you a pic real quick over Discord? Oh no, what is it? Look at this fucking energy. Let me see. I'm going to check it on my phone because I don't feel like opening it on my computer. So let's check it. Daisuke looks kind of shook. You good, Daisuke? How do you feel about that chapter, fam? I'm crying, Hound! Why do you look so sad? Aww. Bruh, but your lips are down, like turned downward, and your eyes look like your eyes are watery. Like your shit is slanted a little bit, so it's like your eyes are hooded. You look like you about to cry, nigga. Like, you good? And check out this dumb shit. I'm weak. What dumb shit? You look like you took a selfie and you was feeling yourself. Words cannot describe, right? Like, Jess was just being a whole ass disrespectful old lady that needed to get slapped across her whole mouth. Just pop out her dentures. Just slap out her dentures. That's how hard she needed to be slapped. Nigga, I'm high. How the energy too different. I'm weak. So when you high, you look sad. Like, you look like you want to cry. I'm concerned. Energy hit too different. I'm weak. I'm just saying, Hound. That's what it looked like. I'm not sad. I know, but your face. You look like. Aw. You know what you look like? You look like the cat. That cat meme. You look like that one cat meme where the cat look like he crying, eyes watering, look so sad. Cat probably was chilling, but his whole face said, "I'm sad, nigga." I'm crying. You don't remember that one? They always use the same face for, like, when they wanted to do the baked potato. And they put the cat's face on it. You're not ugly. You're not ugly. Call you? I'm crying. Alright, hold on. Give me a sec. I gotta open my Discord on my computer. Also, the delay is like almost non-existent. That's crazy. I love it. I guess while we're doing this, I'll put the music on. I'm gonna go call Hound. It's baby and nice, the living baby doll. It's baby and nice, the living baby doll. Audio is on point. I'm weak. Alright, I'm a yeet. Yeet yeet. Skra. Wata. Yeah. Hi. What's going?
Okay, I had to fucking switch. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, well, wait a minute.
You said call you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I had you on my laptop, but I also have you on my tablet, but I have you on my phone.
What the hell?
So I was texting through okay, listen, I was texting through the phone.
Okay.
And then I'm watching you on Twitch.
Okay.
On my laptop. Okay. But I meant to answer you on my tablet. Okay. And that's it was fucking weird, bro. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and continue the story. Although this is great. I can hear you clearly. Just do your thing, fam.
Alright, you're gonna have to mute yourself though, because the echo.
Alright.
Yeah. And like whenever we take breaks and stuff, like where I pause and respond to chat, where I'm like, what y'all niggas think, then you can unmute yourself and then we just go, hi, I'm talking about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to, silent. Yeah,
I'm crying, alright.
Whatever you read, just
bruh. I'm weak. Alright. So let's see. Woo! Chapter 52. I think I'm gonna actually stop at maybe chapter 54. Cause to be honest, my left eye is kind of like, I'm ready to sleep. So yeah, that. So basically, I'ma definitely be sleeping after like chapter 54. This audio crisp, too crisp. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Hound. Alright. Woo! Alright. Chapter 52. No, I'm crying. You'll be alright. Kincaid waved off Sarah's offer of more tea. Thank you. No, I gotta get back. Alex, walk with me a second, okay? Alex said nothing until they were outside and heading for the front walk. Then she looked up at Kincaid. What was that all? Hush. Kincaid put up a warning hand. Then he saw their house guard straightening from his slouch. Kincaid hooked a thumb over his shoulder. I got her, Greg. You want? There's hot tea inside. Jess or Sarah will give you a cup. How about Tori? Greg's breath chugged like a steam engine. He was younger than Alex, maybe 14, with a halo of muddy brown curls fringing a watch cap. His cheeks were red as beets from windburn. She inside? No, but she should be back soon. Sure, she'd love to see you. Kincaid clapped the boy on the shoulder. Bet she could scrounge up a sandwich or two. Yeah, that'd be good. If you think it's okay. If you don't think Chris will be back. He looked mad enough to spit nails. Oh, I think Chris is done for the day. Okay. Greg gestured towards his golden, whose bushy tail and fluffy ruff was chunky with ice and snow. Daisy needs a little time to defrost anyway. Then go on in before you catch your death, Kincaid said. They'd already taken Alex's horse, Honey, to a 3-car garage down the block that had been covered into a stable. Kincaid's horse was tethered to a tree at the curb, and as he unclipped the lead, he glanced over his shoulder, saw Greg and Daisy disappear into the house, and said to Alex, "You okay?" "Yeah," she said. "That was so embarrassing." "That's what happens when you behave like an ass." "Thanks." "You'll get over it." Honestly, in Alex's defense, I don't even think she was much of a bitch at all. Like, to be honest, she has every right to be upset of the fact that these niggas was not really down for either allowing her to go on her own to find her friends or helping her go find her friends. Sure, they had like these issues and this, that, and third, but they really act like she's the problem with it. Like, she literally kept things pretty fucking neutral. Like, everyone else is kind of just mad assholes in this fucking town, but they always try and throw it back at her as if she did something wrong. Like, this is literally a town of bullies, which isn't cool. I don't agree that she just said okay about all this. Like, that's one thing where it's just like, I found that was interesting about Alex. She can do a lot of badass shit. She's a very strong person, but when it comes to social interactions, she kind of just bends her back over for people. I don't know if it's to appease to social tensions or whatever, but she really does. She's pretty pacifist, if anything. But what was that all about? 1 second Jess is chewing Chris out for not breaking rules, and then she's yelling at me to follow them. He flicked another look over his shoulder. Look, it's too much to explain right now, but I would watch what I say around the house. What for? Let's just say that there are factions. People taking sides. Not everyone's happy with the way things are going, and you don't want the wrong people talking to the other wrong people. Factions? Wrong people? What is this place? Are you a cult or, one of those really religious... She groped for the right word. You said you're not Mormons or something, but like the Amish? Some kind of weird sect? Things seemed so decided. Totally a cult? Mm-hmm. That wasn't exactly the word she was looking for either, and then too late she realized that if Kincaid was a believer, she probably just managed to insult him. She thought about apologizing, but figured it wouldn't do it any good. Nah, nigga, Cole, I'm crying! Kincaid studied her for a long few seconds. Considering some of my best friends are Amish, I might take offense. They're not weird or a cult. They're gentle, good people. You know what I mean. Yeah, I do. But he didn't smile. I don't pretend to understand everything. As a doc, though, I've seen what happens when people are under a lot of stress. It doesn't always bring out their best. When people are scared, they get angry. They'll do things they never thought they would. They'll bargain and compromise. They'll bargain and compromise in order to survive. They'll chase after miracle cures and believe just about anything so long as it gives them hope. When hope fails, then watch out. Some people get brutal. They'll turn on each other. They'll become their own worst enemies. You could have been talking about her life. How many specialists had Aunt Hannah insisted on? What were the pebbles, those little rocks in her brain? But a last-ditch effort. When her parents had died, Alex refused to believe it until she saw their bodies. Her aunt hadn't wanted her to, which was understandable. Between the impact and the fireball, her parents were reduced to a charred jumble of blackened limbs and 2 white teeth. Her grief, such a small word for such a monstrous feeling, was almost too much to bear. And Alex had lashed out at everything with a sort of desperate fury. It was, she thought now, exactly what Jess had just said. Anger was easier to bear than grief. Rage tricked her into thinking she might still change something. That acceptance was defeat. So when it's the end of the world, Kincaid was saying, people who didn't give a darn before suddenly became believers. If there was a core of believers to begin with, then they take control. This village has always been, well, conservative's a good word, and then some. The council's only the tip of the iceberg. Are you a believer, I mean? I believe in living, and I'm old enough to take the bad with the good. Maybe I'm only rationalizing things, but I like to think I'm doing some good here. And to be honest, living here beats the alternative. What about Jess? Kincaid chose his words with care. Change a few things. Like she said, the price for us being left alone is a bit steep. People are scared, though. No one wants to make waves, especially not now. You live long enough, comes a time when it's easier to just go along to get along. I agree with her in principle, but I'm not sure we can afford the alternative. Meaning what? That those old people were tired out? That they were looking to people like Chris? Her? Maybe. If Rule was owned by the council, but a Yeager was always the final arbiter, then Jess would press Chris, hoping that Chris would command the respect that his grandfather did. But to change what? Why can't Chris say something? Why can't Jess say something? Or get together a committee or whatever? Kincaid looked like he'd sucked on a lemon. No power. Majority rules, and the majority with the council and the Rev. Yeah, meaning majority men. Are you with Reverend Yeager? I'm not against him on principle. I see the logic of it. If we're going to survive this, we need to maintain order. I disagree with the execution. And adults say we're evasive. So change it. Not as simple as you think, kiddo. Besides, it's one thing to criticize. It's another to have a better idea. I don't know that I do. Even if I did, I'm not the man for that. But Chris is. She shook her head. Lena was right. Why are you waiting around for us to clean up your mess? You guys are cowards. Yeah, said Kincaid. That's fair. One thing I gotta know, said Kincaid. He threw the Appaloosa's rein over its head. What happened between you and the Rev after you threw me out, that is? She remembered Ernst's admonition. Excuse me. Some secrets are best kept behind closed doors. Why? Alex, I've seen a lot of Spared with the Rev, and this is the first time I ever saw a Spared nail it. Fuck? What? You knew what was going on with him. I just guessed. Bull. How did you know? Only me and the council and a couple others know about him and that touch thing he's got going. Well, I guess it's the only thing that made sense. Don't give me that crap. Look, I'm not the enemy here. I just want to understand what's going on. Weren't you the one who just told me to wash my mouth around the wrong people? Yes, but in case you haven't noticed, I'm one of those right people. Kincaid's eyes shifted towards the house. Alex followed his gaze and saw Jess staring from the window. When she saw them looking, the older woman inclined her head in a small nod, then twitched the curtains close. Kincaid said, "You trust me?" Despite what Ernst had said, she trusted Kincaid about as much as she trusted anyone in this place. Maybe because his scent reminded her so much of her father. During their conversation, that smell had not changed. There was none of the bite she associated with a lie. He seemed to be going out of his way to help her, so she said, "I guess." "Then trust me now." How do you know about his, well, I call it a super sense. His is touch and yours. She licked her lips. I smelled him. Kincaid's eyebrows crawled for his hairline. Smell? As in a scent? She nodded. It was the same way I figured out that Harlan was there. Harlan had a certain scent I recognized. You saying Yeager has a scent? You smell him? Well, when you say it like that, it sounds like he's got BO, but yeah, everyone has a scent. Some are more, she searched for the word, concentrated than other people. A lot of times I think what I smell is how they feel. She explained about her sudden flashes of memory. Like I associate the scent with a memory that gives me a certain feeling, and then I know what they're feeling. It doesn't always work because there are some things I just can't put a name to, like, a squirrel smell is a squirrel smell. Do I got one? Yeah. You smell like leather and, she thought about it, baby powder. Well, leather's good. If I weren't such a manly man, I might have trouble with baby powder, though. He grinned. What about the Rev? Opaque, like really dense fog, or, how cloudy glass has that cold smell. Couldn't really get a read on him, and then when I guessed about his, touch, I could tell he was surprised because it was like something suddenly opened up, and then I smelled rain. I think that means it was raining when it happened for him. That, said Kincaid, is true. It was raining here that day. The glass smell is interesting, too. What do you make of it? I think he was staring out of a window. A smile flirted with with Kincaid's mouth. Yeah, that's true, too. How do you know? Because I was sitting next to him when it happened. Where? Where we were living, along with all the other awakened, Kincaid said, in the Alzheimer's wing of the hospice. Alex gaped. You were a patient? You had Alzheimer's? Yeah. Why do you think we're called the awakened? I wasn't terminal, but I was close. Stage 6. Believe me, no one was more surprised than me to wake up in diapers. Thank God I was dry. How can you joke about something like that? All she could think of was Kincaid, crapping in his pants and drooling. I don't think that's very funny. Kincaid hunched his shoulders in a shrug. At my age, you learn not to take things so seriously. Anyway, I woke up in front of the picture window, strapped to a wheelchair, and the tech, young fella, maybe 30, he's dead as a doornail. Try working your way out of those straps without help. Those things were geriatric straitjackets. Take a Houdini to get out of one. Near about strangled myself. He looked at her and laughed. You don't shut that mouth of yours. You're going to be catching flies. How many of you are there? Awakened? Just 5, including me and the Rev. So can you sense? Nope, I'm just me. Besides the Rev, there's only one other person who has something similar. Hears stuff a long way off, kind of like a bat, I guess, but with a nuance, which can come in handy. You're the only one who can sense them, though. You're like the dogs that way, when they catch a whiff of the changed. She favored her with that one-eyed squint, but they see you as a friend. More than that, they'll protect you. So you must have changed another way, too. Pheromones, maybe. The word was familiar, something from biology. What are those? Chemicals made by the body that produces certain odors that trigger certain responses. As far as I know, all animals make them. So do a lot of insects. That's how bees and ants communicate, for example. Kincaid's lips turned into a regretful grin. I always thought my wife smelled like lilies. After she died, I hung on to her clothes for the longest time. Walking in her closet was like getting wrapped up in a hug. She remembered how Tom had smelled, that complex spice that made her dizzy and hungry for his touch, and a hollow ache that she recognized as grief settled in her chest. I'm sleepy. I might nap, have a good stream meal. Alright, see ya, Peach. I'm sleepy too. I might head out after this. Fuck this. I'm tired. Kincaid saw the look on her face and misinterpreted. Thanks, kiddo. You never quite get over losing someone you love. But I'm okay. He squeezed her shoulder. Now there's nothing we can do about the dogs. Deciding you're their new best friend, but we can spin the Harlan thing pretty easy. We'll just say you recognized him, okay? The Rev is right about keeping this super smell thing under wraps. Don't even tell Chris. Don't worry about that. She wasn't tempted to tell Chris anything. That Kincaid assumed she might confide in him was a little alarming. Maybe they're already seeing us as a couple. Maybe that's why Jess badgered him into being my escort when he wanted to bail. Would people really try to hurt me? It's a possibility. They might think you got some agenda. The super sense of smell thing you got going, it's a blessing and a curse. Good for us, because you might catch kids the dogs don't, and they have missed a few. A vision of children being paraded past for her inspection floated into her mind. I don't want to do that. Kincaid gave her a hard look. You're a smart girl, so don't make me spell this out for you. We need to use every advantage we got, and that includes you. But that's also where it could be a problem, because then it's your word against theirs. You can't see or touch a smell. You guys always believe Yeager. Yeager's one of the 5 families. He's head of the council now. Yeah, now. But she couldn't believe they'd let some demented guy decide policy. So who had called the shots before Yeager awakened? I wouldn't lie. You know that, and I know that. Yeager and the council would know, but why would regular folks trust you? If what you can do gets out, then somebody else just might decide they've got a super sense too. In other words, they would lie. Even with the council and the rev to say otherwise. Things could get pretty nasty. See what I'm saying? We could have our little version of the Salem witch trials, and we got no time for that kind of crap. She had never considered this, but she could see the logic. In school, your reputation could rest on a rumor. Okay. Good. Now, if you do send something off, you tell me or the rep, period. You got that? And not any of the other council members. That was interesting. What are you going to do if someone else pops up with super sense? We'll deal with it then. I don't think it's as common as all that anyway. That one-eyed squint again. You got any ideas why this might have happened to you? She felt a small flutter of alarm. No. When he said nothing, she added, Really? Kincaid's mouth screwed to a pucker. You know, I'm not like Yeager, but I do believe that's the first lie you've told me, Alex. And here's why. All the survivors, us older people, our brains are different, even from people who are in their 40s, 50s. Sleep patterns are way different. For one, we don't dream as much as younger people. She thought about Tom and his broken sleep, as well as her monsters in that nightmare. Would it only be sleep then dreams? Dreams? A magic bullet? No. Probably a combination of things that tip the balance. Older people's brains just aren't as spry as they used to be. Our brains don't make as many neurochemicals. Now that's not uniform. There's some very sharp 90-year-olds. I knew one, in fact, but the hell of it is, he died right away too. Like he was 40 instead of 90. Meaning what? Well, let's just think about it for a second. The zap, as you call it, was a whole bunch of high-intensity EMPs, right? Well, what are those but electrical discharges? And what is the brain but an organ that relies on what it is? In essence, electricity to function. A brain is like a hive of bees. All the cells have to be firing in the right order, or you got chaos. A bunch of bees going every which way and nothing getting done. She thought she saw where he was going. So if you zap the brain with enough of a charge, you create chaos, release a flood of neurochemicals? Why would that matter? Alex, what do you think a seizure is? It's that chaos thing again. A bunch of brain cells firing in an uncoordinated manner. Plus, seizures can kill you. The brain can seize up and stop working, and the person will die. So what I'm thinking is that older people whose brains already don't work as well when they were younger were protected. We got knocked for a loop when the zap hit, but they didn't die. Those of us who were bad off, they awakened. Our brains were like little raisins. So for us, the zap kind of woke us up, primed our brains to make chemicals we've been missing. I think it's probably more complicated than that, but you get the general idea. She did, but that still didn't answer why Tom had lived, or her, unless she was right about the monsters having done enough damage to save her. But then what about kids? Don't know. Kids' brains aren't set in stone. They're still growing and developing. I know for a fact that kids can survive brain injuries, like cold water drownings, that could kill or cripple an adult. The older you get, the less able your brain is able to absorb an injury and adapt. I guess there's just natural cutoff where the injury gets to be too much for the brain to handle. In the context of the zap, that means the majority of adults couldn't absorb the trauma and they flat out died. What about the change? Based on what we've seen, I think it's got to do with brain development and hormones. Tom and I wondered the same thing, she told Kincaid about meeting Larry and Deidre. Kincaid bobbed his head in a nod. That fits. Hormones also explain why kids are... Damn, this nigga's loud as fuck! Shut the fuck up! Damn! This nigga always has to yell when he's on a fucking call, and he decides to be on this loud ass fucking call right now. Nigga, shut up. Shut up. Oh my god. I hope you guys can't hear him, to be honest. I have no idea, but this nigga's loud as fuck.
Nah, we can't.
What? You can't hear him?
Nope, not at all.
Alright, cool. Because he's loud as fuck, bro.
I spoke too soon.
I'm crying. Yeah, we only got one more page and then I'm gonna head off. I'm sleepy anyway, so I'm gonna go take a fat ass sleep. So anyway, Kincaid bobbed his head in a nod. That fits. Hormones would also explain why kids are still changing as they get older. Her thoughts started to Ellie. You mean every little kid's going to change? Maybe. So far that looks to be true. On the other hand, it's only been a couple of months, and so maybe whatever changed in their brains will repair itself. The really young ones, babies and toddlers, kindergartners, they might have a chance, but maybe not. A whole generation of kids changing? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. But then, why have some of us changed and not others? The spared? I don't know what's going on with you all. Why you and people like Chris and Peter and this Tom of yours didn't change. Your brains are probably different somehow, but I'll be damned if I know. She hesitated a moment. You said that old people's sleep and dreams are different. I think something bad happened to Tom in Afghanistan. Enough so he didn't sleep much, and never for very long. Kincaid's eyebrows arched. Post-traumatic stress? I never thought of that. Could be, though. Why? Because the brains of people with PTSD show permanent changes. The symptoms reinforce the damage, and then the damage means more symptoms. That's why PTSD is so hard to treat. People can learn to function, but it's an injury the brain just never recovers from. Kincaid huffed out a silent laugh like a dog. If I wasn't just a country doctor and got a big enough sample of kids and had a fancy laboratory and could do all kinds of tests, maybe I'd figure it out, but that's not ever happening. One thing I do know, though, all of us awakened, we got some kind of brain damage by definition, and now I'm thinking that some of the older kids who should have changed didn't because their brains and hormones were somehow different. He paused. You see where I'm going with this, right? Her stomach tightened in a sudden twist of fear. Not really. Alex, I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I am a doctor, and I can put 2 and 2 together. The Rev had bad brain damage, and he got a super sense. We got another awakened with super hearing, but you're the only kid I know who's both spared and got a super sense. So, Alex, I gotta know, Kincaid said with his best one-eyed squint. What exactly is living in that head of yours? Woo! We're finally done. Fuck, I'm tired. Yeah. We only got through 5 chapters. This technically might be 4, but I don't care.